einmal im Jahr. Ole, ole und schalala.
As we say, it's been a while. 2 years ago, we were all in Oberhausen for the last 16 Carat Gold, last big wrestling event before the pandemic. This time next week, we'll all be singing Hoitress Carat. Mike Kilby from Eurograps, how are you doing?
Hello. And it was almost as if the last time we did this was literally 3 or 4 days. I think it was 2 days before we went, wasn't it? So
Gary did the post Carat wrap up that when we all naively thought, just stay in our homes for a month, bump elbows, wash your hands a lot more and be over and done with. But yeah, how naive we were. But next week we're all going back over to Dusseldorf, Essen, Oberhausen, whichever airport you're going to or train line you're going in. And it's a much different landscape to the one we all left Oberhausen 2 years ago.
And argue for the better, actually, in a way. Obviously, things we found out about ourselves, about the horrible industry we do love. I think it's a very, very different landscape in the time since we've had people leave our scene for pastures new. We've seen people leave with their head hung in shame, should we say? Sorry, spit my tongue out. We've had also new stars appear amidst the closed ranks, sort of the closed studio setup. I think WXW as a promotion, kind of in the midst, we've had sort of the return of Shotgun, which was very exciting. Very, very happy with that. Return of Shotgun, and arguably, probably, in my opinion, outside of possibly AEW, the best closed arena wrestling in amidst the whole pandemic, with basically just how all the shows mattered, which was great.
I mean, WXW did come back pretty quickly after Carat. It's gone through, good old cage match. I mean,
well, it was summer of 2020.
Yeah, they were pretty much as soon as they were able to do anything, they opened up. I'm looking.
I want to say it was about July. July time.
No, end of May 2020.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Even earlier than I thought. Then.
So yeah, first match back, Avalanche against Rambo. I mean, obviously not going to go through everything that. I mean, literally, there's been over 100 shows since Carat. 2 years ago. I mean, there has been a lot. We've seen Bobby Guns. He sent Redacted packing after Carat last year. The reigning champion went all the way through. He lost the title to Marius Alani. It was October of last year. No, April of last year.
Yeah.
Marius then lost to Axel Tischer in October of last year. I mean, there's a bit of irony there. I mean,
yeah, Axel Tischer, who the last Carat was under contract to WWE, so
he won the Shotgun title at Carat and became that meme for a while. Couldn't defend it at all because WWE weren't letting their guys out to play. Let go, and now he's the main champion in WXW going into this Carat. That in itself is a sign of how things have changed in the last 2 years in terms of roster. But yeah, I mean, they have done an awful lot. Like I say, a lot of names have gone, a lot of bodies come through the doors, and we've seen. I mean, if you watched any of the Empty Arena stuff, you would have seen a load of names who, quite honestly, was a lot of guys I saw most early shows. It's like, I've heard of you, but I've never seen you. Like guys like, Rambo. Okay, I've seen him in GWF before, but it was a long, long while since he'd been in WXW. I think back in the German Stampede wrestling days when we had that crossover, I think. Or even the co-pros with GWF. But we had ASL, who don't seem to be around anymore. They were somewhat the feature attraction. We had some of the older guys brought back, Dirty Dragons, your Emil Stochis, he had a storyline. Johnny Evers, a lot of names who.
You had the Prugelbrood, you had Mikey Schwartz and Kevin Roadster. Like they were a big part of Shotgun 2020, and they were really cool. But they were a really good part of it as well, I thought.
Mikey won Shock to the Top 2 years ago, and
he did.
And,
God, that's
how the build up for his title match with Bobby Guns, I mean, okay, wasn't going to be a. I don't think many people in hindsight gave him a shot. But the fact that you took a guy who, 2 years ago was singing Abba Scheißdrauf with, Disco King Frankie, at Carat. All of a sudden, winning shot, big title shot, and it made it mean something. It wasn't just it's Santino Marella-ish, Joe Quinn, and he'll be put out straight away. But that we've always argued, whether it's being glamorous or not, has been WXW's core strength, even back to the original Shotgun days. It was very rarely about the 5-star matches, although they did have them. It's the storytelling, and that's what people came to WXW. That's why Shotgun was about a point of viewing every single week back in the day. But going a bit off course, and we've had, I've had a lot of names through the doors. They've settled on a key roster now, I would say, and a lot of those guys you are going to see at 16 Carat Gold next weekend, be it in the tournament or in a circle or any of the shoulder shows. I think that's it's in a lot of those guys. It's more than just here you go, mates. You've done us good. Have your your grand day out, and then we're going to have all the big guys back. They it does feel like these are the guys who they've treated seriously from day one, and they are the new core. And I'll be honest, once you got used to like any massive change like this, it's as good as ever.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And the other good thing is that in a way, we'll go through the lineup of the actual tournament soon, but in a way, it's almost like there's 8 guys who are going to be hometown people, because there are people. I don't think there's going to be quite the big international following as there has been in the past. I think the travelling contingent, at least from people me and you both know, I think it's dropped off a very, very, quite a large amount. But I think the reality is it's going to be quite a domestic crowd still, at least compared to previous years. And it's almost going to be there's going to be 8 or 9 people who are going to be they're going to be like hometown favourites really. And I think the fly-ins, the very high quality fly-ins, we must say still, as always, but the fly-ins will almost people are going to be just excited for their own guys than they will for the new people.
Yeah, folks who've watched through the empty set shows, and even though back in front of crowds, I mean, we forget they have been running shows. They maybe not as often as they wanted to, but they have been running in front of fans since last summer. We did Bielefeld last August. We've done a few of the Comic-Con shows, but they've run last summer. So them and RevPro came back around about the same time.
To be fair, you should actually also say they did have the show in Kutenholz in the summer of 2020. So in the summer of 2020, they had a 600
capsule. Because back then had I keep mixing up his new WXW name with the Enfield name Metahan. They had him with
Lucky
Price. Then obviously Lucky Kid Metahan lost the Shotgun title to Norman Harris of all people. If you haven't been catching up, lost the title to him. And obviously Metan went off to pastures new. All of Azel seemed to have disappeared, at least from WXW. I mean, I guess what we should probably start with and go horribly out of order is the Inner Circle, because the other bit of news that's come out of WXW, at least recently, is the Grand Old Wrestling Academy in Essen-Kartenberg. That's moving later this summer, going to Gelsenkirchen. It's an MMA gym, so it's big. I don't want to say custom built facility, but the rooms they have are going to be, pretty much spec'd out exactly for them. If you've seen Passion Pro, the Hungarian promotion, it's kind of going to have the same feel as the where I've had it explained to me. But so this is the last Inner Circle in Essen. So no more one train an hour there and back. But yeah, this early stage, just before we recorded, they announced the card for that. Run through, and obviously this is going to give away some of the names in the Carat tournament, but if you listen to this, you probably know by now you're not waiting on any spoilers. So In no particular order, Dennis Kastolnik against Ace Romero, Shikihiro Irie against Gullius Jr., Endakara against Fuminori Abe, Orsi
Good
against Dave Everett, Norman Harras and Sebastian Suave against Golden Boy Santos and Born Vertigo. And I'm guessing this is the main event. The Hungarian team of Icarus, Strober, Maverick, and Peter Tahani against the Academy team of Robert Dreisker for rotation, Oscar and James Runyon. That's a cracking card in itself.
Yeah, it is. It is a really good one, and as I say, I think this is going to be the inner circle is always it's almost like a starter's course before, it's a little bit of a taster menu before you get to the big tournament, but you always like to, everybody wants to start Carat with a nice win early doors, and it's going to be a shame to say goodbye to the Academy and Essens Ultraline, Kaltenberg, wherever it is. It is going to be a shame to sort of say goodbye to them, but I think this is a great card to sort of see off Inner Circle with in that venue. I think the Abe Kara match I think is going to be absolute belter. I think it was at Alan. I saw Alan 4L tweet earlier today that there's actually no better. Fuminori Abe is possibly one of the most Inner Circle style wrestlers he's ever seen. He's going to suit that more than anybody, more than anybody you can think of. So that's one that one's going to be very exciting for me.
Obviously, Abe did that promo midweek, but it
was great.
Literally, he just had a match with Nomura as tag partner. And literally, the rest of you haven't seen what Batty Batty is. I mean, it's just leveled the shit out of each other, which I think that's one way to endear yourself to an entirely new fan base.
It would be great if Nomura just comes over unannounced and he gets in like the alternate for that would be great.
Something we will get onto later on in the weekend, but I mean, just going for this lineup. Gullish Jr. He's not in the Carat lineup, but he's one of those guys who did help carry through the empty set shows. And I'd say it's a bloody big test against Shiggy, but
it's going to be one of the biggest matches of their career, really, in terms of like stage. I kind of feel like as big as the shows have been, this Inner Circle is almost one of the biggest shows they've done since coming back.
I mean, we did the Inner Circle just before the Carat Grand Prix in September. I'm looking at the lineup, and I mean, that was a lot more lockdown. It was mostly focusing on, I don't want to say rewarding the guys who got them through the empty set shows, but it was a lot more. They even said themselves they weren't going to be bringing in massive fly-ins formats. I think the biggest name on that one would have been, Akira Francesco in the main event.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much like the Inner Circles of old. You've got the Everett Orsi match. I could not find anything about Orsi. I think she's from the Hungarian scene.
Yeah, I tried looking. I tried looking through a few of the old, a few of the other sort of sites you can sort of sometimes find information on. And I couldn't dig anything up about her, unfortunately.
I mean, that'd be a first exposure. Again, Everett's building up for a title match. We'll get on to that one. That weird mixed tag, Norman Harras and Sebastian Suave, Golden Boy Santos and Vaughn Vertigo. I mean, Vertigo's booked for the showcase show. Suave isn't, but I know, at least I think, Sebastian's part of the Smash Wrestling crew. Big spots on the showcase event, so makes sense. Again, I don't know anything whether it has changed. I know Anil Marek. I don't know why I pronounced his name for the first time. He announced this morning he picked up a shoulder injury, doing a bulldog of all things in training with CCTV camera style GIF on that he's posted. So I guess that's him off all events. I'll get well soon. I mean, that he's going to be a big miss in terms of presentation.
I think Marek not being there is what a shame as well, because I think he'd only really sort of did he debut under the pandemic, or was he just beforehand?
No, so this one I was saying this to you before, but the last anniversary show before the pandemic, I was also for that, and they did a student show the day after, and that's where they brought him out for his debut. He did the whole, "Hey, you've graduated, now you're facing me, Robert Dreisker."
Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, his name, because I mean, it's one of these where a lot of the Academy guys have a rabid fan base because it's all really local. They know each other.
Yeah.
Couldn't hear his name because it got that loud reaction. I mean, obviously, it's one of the stars of the Empty Session. Him and Dreisker being a tag team, building that whole storyline. Yeah, I mean,
I get a lot of Ilya-isms out of him. Really, I think that's kind of the smaller guy who with the big heart and big passion. I kind of get that a lot from Marek, and as I say, I think he's certainly one who well, there's a lot of people who are for the future really for WXW, but I think he's definitely someone who I think if they can sort of pin themselves to him, he's going to be.
It's a lot. I think he's only 200 years in, so
yeah.
Still, he's nowhere near the finished project, and I think there's a lot to find in him.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I mean, bear in mind, I think Dreisker was saying to me before, he won his tag titles, things like, there's maybe even like 12 matches in us, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
But again, yes, you can argue, well, yeah, it's the pandemic, what else are we going to do? Well, yeah, but at the same time, even with a limited roster, if you've got a guy who you've got that kind of confidence in, but you're putting, one of your company's big titles on, during pandemic era, when you've, that is literally you putting your best foot forward, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to stall through cage match. So he debuted December 15th, 2019.
Yeah. It's
24 matches in at Dead End last day. So 24 matches in and you win title. They obviously think highly of him. I mean, they wouldn't be using him this much if they didn't.
Yeah, for sure.
Timing almost equates to getting injured week 4 cup final in terms of how what you're standing the shows. But yeah, I think for Inner Circle it's a really good lineup. I think there may still be a few tickets left for those if you want to make a trip over. But that is always the play setter and move over to 16 Carat Gold. And just looking through the lineups compared to the one from 2 years ago, we have just one person surviving from 2020 16 Carat Gold. Putting on the spot, who is it?
2016?
From 2020 16 Carat Gold, there's only one person from 16 then that's still in the lineup now. So two.
Cara Noir would be the one.
And
Dreisker?
Uye.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh no, Dreisker wasn't in it, was he? He was shotgun champion. Sorry,
that's all mean.
Yeah.
Just want to I'll do a quick run through the names that's in it. So we've got a preview on BackBodyDrop.com with the past runners and riders and what have you. Only 4 of the 16 have ever done a carrot before, which kind of tells you the roster turnover we've had. Yeah, so
it would have been unheard of, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I've not done the maths, but it would not surprise me if obviously the first one. But in the modern day, this is really special carrots can get. In a time where people complaining, oh, the New Japan Cup, it's all the same roster, the G1's the same matches. Well, here you go. It's pretty much entirely new lineup. A lot of fresh matches. Of course, night one, Friday, March I get my calendar. Friday, March 4th, when all kicks off. First round matches, all these on that Friday night, and in no particular order. Vincent Heisenberg against the last winner, Cara Noir.
Yeah, it's almost like when the it's almost like the Champions League draw being seeded. That is, the champion from last year gets the person who I think got in, one of the last people to get in. So
yeah, it's Heisenberg's been the monster, but the results really haven't been coming that way. He's
yeah,
blind for Maggot.
So yeah, so in the years since he sort of made his first real appearances in proper. At the last Carat he was in Ambition as a sort of a last minute guy. He kind of debuted during Shotgun 2020. I think there was plans for him to be partner with Veit Muller, judging by the ring gear. Less said about that, the better. But he sort of spent first couple of months where he was teaming with Dreisker and Marek as part of the academy, and then fairly recently he sort of teamed up with Maggot, formerly of the Pretty Bastards, and who was it? And
Baby Allison.
Baby Ellison. Sorry, I forgot her name briefly. So he's been teaming with them recently. So he's kind of the muscle with them three, really, isn't he?
Of course, he lost his hair. It's about first hair handicap match, which So if you're wondering why he's lost his hair,
that'll be why.
Bushra pressed us. He came out short end. So I guess you might want to don't predict the whole field because we don't have brackets. But this one, I'd be stunned if Cowan lost. But at the same time, I also wouldn't be too surprised. Like Cowan's already had that big run up. He won obviously last time. He finally got the title shot. He was the runner up in first Carat Grand Prix. He had that match with Walter before he disappeared under a new name. So, I guess you've got to have him go, maybe not all the way, but he's got to go far. But at the same time, again, this good bracketing. You put these kind of matches in, so you don't think he hasn't got a chance. But I don't know. This one I could really see the upset in.
Well, I mean, I think all of them have a slight chance for having some form of upset. Really, it's. I think you do look at Cara Noir as somebody. He's built himself in the two appearances he's had. He's built himself as a tournament specialist. He winning his first time out at Carat and then coming second in Catch Grand Prix. I think it would be a very tall task to expect someone like Hosenberg to turn him over first round. But then again, we've seen in the past, first round, there's always a shock in the first round.
And nobody's ever won back-to-back Carats either, so it's going to be someone. No, he's the only person who can do it this year. Next up, Robert Dreisker against Fuminori Abe. I will say now, all my hands up, I have not seen that much of Abe. That promo we talked about earlier, but this is, I think as the kids say, this is going to slap, literally as well as figuratively.
Yes, so it's going to be a very batch match, I think as he would say. I understand this is his first sort of foray outside of Japan as well.
Yeah, I mean, if Cage Match is telling the truth, and I don't have any reason to think they'll lie. In a circle, technically, outside Japan, so this is really uncharted territory. But I mean, we've seen guys come into the West before, virtual unknowns in that respect, and completely win the crowds over. I think he's probably going to get the win over Dreisker here. 2, I think he's going to be the cult favourite after next weekend.
Yeah, I think he probably will come. I think he will come out as a bit of a cult favourite, I think, for a lot of people. Unfortunately, Dreisker has a bit of a as much as everybody loves him, the tournaments haven't always fallen in his lap. It would be great if he did storm through the whole thing this time, but unfortunately, history isn't on his side with that. But I think, it's Abe. I think will go quite deep. Will go quite deep into this tournament. He possibly even may get to the third night if he can get past Dreisker. But I think both of these could be like semi-finalists for sure. Yeah.
Ace Romero and Maggot. Obviously, we touched on
Maggot already.
Maggot is part of. I know I don't listen to the German commentary much unless the English feed doesn't go up on time, but Dave Bradshaw does the English commentary these days, has kind of been labelling Heisenberg, Maggot and Baby Allison as the family. Don't know if someone from Enfield's knocked on the door yet about that, but him against Ace Romero. Romero used to be in Impact until last year. He used part of Triple XL with Larry D. he's just come back on the scene from he wrestled Alec Price in Limitless a few weeks back, so he's getting back on the scene Limitless where he used to be. I don't know how to read this one. Maggot, they tried to make a single star since they put that stuff. I don't think Ace Romero's the guy you bring over throughout night one, but at the same time, with something later on in the weekend which could easily go either way.
I think Ace Romero is certainly someone you can. He's very useful elsewhere in the weekend. Being a big, it's a big variety festival, Carat. If you've never really experienced it before, but it's a big variety festival, and there's there's something for everybody. And I think you can have somebody who can do a bit of comedy and have a bit of a laugh with, and I think Romero is the sort of person you can do that with. So I think his use is elsewhere in the weekend, and obviously he's in Carat. But I have to admit, I think I see Maggot getting the win on this one with some outside interference of some kind, anyway.
This one's yep.
And he does have experience of winning the tournament, Maggot.
Yep.
So.
This one's a bit for Pickham, Igor Blanc and Peter Tahani, two debutants, two guys who both came in through the empty set shows. Tahani, the first Hungarian ever to make Carat. Yeah,
so I got White Eagle is the so he's from he's from APC in France, sort of from the Paris thing. He's almost like the Bizarro Senza Volto in a way, the way their costumes are. Whereas Peter Tahani, he's long been someone I've always quite enjoyed. He's worked a lot in GWF, worked a lot in Hungary. Really, really strong sort of junior, I think, and he's so young as well. So he's one that I'm really happy he's in this tournament. He only qualified through the last showcase, wasn't it?
Yeah, so both him and Dennis Stolnik, who touched next, both won the Bielefeld tournament.
So yeah, he's got. I think he's a real exciting prospect. I think again, he's one of the people that I think he's very rewarding to follow. If you've been following him for a few years, this is a very it feels like a it's the right step at the right time. The opportunity to get someone like him in this tournament I think he's going to turn a lot of heads this weekend, in the same sense that many people have come out of Carat smelling of roses in the past where they've previously not really been anywhere. I think Tahani's got the opportunity to do the same.
Who in years gone by you'd have the slow career arc of you'd maybe make to the second round and go out.
Or they maybe go out the first night, but then the second night they come out and everybody loves them. Which that's the great thing about a Carat is it's 4 nights, and you can, over the course of the weekend, more and more you get the groundswell of support, and it always comes for someone. And I think I can see it sort of coming for Tahani quite well.
Big weekend, both these lads.
Yeah.
Next one, and it's a couple of firsts in Carat. Dennis Kastelnik against Lufisto. Lufisto thinks she's replacing Francesco Akira, who had to pull out of injury. Dennis Stolnik obviously won Bielefeld, and I'm not going to use the I word because I know a lot of people don't like that, but it's the first time we're having a man and woman match in Carat, and nobody kind of retired that whole, we're very strict against that whole kind of thing before the empty set stuff. Now, not so leaning into it as much as say Beyond Wrestling does, but yeah, this Lufisto, this was one of my dark horse picks just to go for, just because of her reputation and her history. WWE making a big deal. She won one of the last Femme Fatale tournaments against Dennis Stolnik, especially the way he won his qualification.
Yeah,
things on his mind for this one.
For sure. And I think this is. I hope I can see Lufisto getting past Dornig for sure. I think Dornig's someone who's who's emerged kind of out of nowhere. I think I might have seen him once or twice beforehand, but he wasn't someone who I'd immediately sort of spring to as a first name in my skull. But I think the last match the qualifier was against his friend. I don't know if that's right way to describe Hector, but
his friend,
reluctant acquaintance. He's reluctant. He's had a bit of a boo boo and was accidentally pinned his friend Hector to qualify. So you kind of do wonder whether Hector is going to be looming on the side and be ready to embarrass his dear friend Dennis.
And you want a little nugget of information? Dennis Stolnig, in a former life, used to be a tag partner of Oliver Carter.
Ah. Well, he is a Swiss. He's a Swiss boy as well. Yeah, that's true.
That's where they've done back in the day the old shotguns, just quickly hurrying through cage match. And nope, doesn't look like. I could have sworn he did one of the old shotguns. Noel Carter did a few, but it might have just been like a highlight when he was Cash Crash back in the day.
Yeah.
So LaFisto tipping her to go far with Dennis Stolnig.
Well, at least I'm tipping it.
Weekend.
I'm tipping her to beat Dennis.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Give it this time next week. Shihiro Irie against Sense of Alto. I don't want to say it's a cockpit clash. I know both of them were regulars there before even shut down, but this one I'm tipping is a bit for maybe dark horse, maybe match for night kind of thing. Clash of styles, but Sense of Alto's been went pretty far in the first Catch Grand Prix. Since then, he's mostly been the tag guy with Idle Blanc, but this one, I don't know, Irie's gone pretty far in every tournament WXW's used him in. This one, it's a real pick 'em, but it's definitely going to be up there for match for night, if all goes well.
Yeah, I think it's got all the recipes of it. In my head, I've seen Sense of Alto quite a lot, sort of through his work in the UK, and also a lot on tape through German and French shows. And I've always, I can't honestly think of very many bad matches Volto's ever had. I think he's an exceptional worker, and I think again one who's his momentum was cut short by the pandemic. I think there was certainly a lot of momentum behind him, sort of at least in the UK. There was, and especially in Rev Pro, the sort of Rev Pro just before the pandemic kicked off, he was swimming around sort of the Ricky Knight sort of level, and you kind of look where he is now. You kind of wonder what could have been really with Volto, but and I again Irie, we do know him. We know him quite intimately sort of from his year or so he had over here, and I think it's got all the ingredients of something that will be brilliant. I don't really see it not being good, to be honest.
2 matches left. Biff Busick against Michael Knight. I think Biff was over the World Tag Team Festival, just being shut down.
No, that was only Lorcan.
Okay, they look very similar, but Biff come out of retirement for a few years. Have had a really bloody match with Slade and Beyond. Start of this month, February. They called the show Day 91 because it was the first day he could actually wrestle after his release.
The other thing about this is the other thing about this was interesting is Biff was announced the same day he was released.
Yeah.
Which hasn't been done for anybody else. And I think I think the line was basically, well, when an opportunity presents itself, you do it. And
I mean, he was offering up bookings and pretty much straight away in WXW and Beyond, pretty much the same time they announced. What I will say, I mean, Felix Hollenberg, if you follow him on Twitter, he's very big into your Beyonds, your Limitless Wrestlings, a lot of the IWTV feds like that.
Yeah.
Save some of the names. And I think this one, Michael Knight, he's one of the big beneficiaries of the MTE resets.
He's a veteran of German wrestling as well. I mean, I remember watching a match from. He's got to be knocking on 15 years now, I think. I remember watching a match from 2014 of him. It was a ladder match he had in. I want to say it was in COW. Ladder match he had with Ivan Kiev, which was rated, I think, one of the best matches in Germany. I think that in 2014 or something. And it was. He's been going for donkeys now, and but he'd also been working outside of WXW, so I think that's why a lot of people hadn't maybe seen him as much as they had before. Other people.
Big story they had was, at least for Bobby Gunn stuff, was he hadn't been in WXW. Like, he had a run like 2007, matches in 2008. Spot show 2018 in Neumünster. 2019 he did weekend loop. But after that, nothing until the empty set stuff. I think the big thing with Michael Knight, he's had that big feud, a long-running feud with Bobby Guns.
Really good.
Top. But it was one of those which is a real proving ground. If you thought, he's wasn't in WXW before, he can't be any good. Watch those matches. The empty set stuff doesn't help with the atmosphere, but he can go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think there's lots of people, I think, who are very. I think, there's a lot of people who are very similar, and I think the exciting thing for, especially with Michael Knight, is he's not. He's very underexposed, I think, and I think this has to be one of the biggest shows he's done. Because he hasn't really even done very much in Berlin, has he? So it has to be one of the biggest shows he's done, and to get a big American import night one of Carat, I mean it's an investment in someone like that for sure, and I think he's a safe hand. I think more is what we would say about Michael Knight.
Yeah, it's one of these. You don't if you're expert, bet the big name on this, but you could argue. Again, there's nobody in this line that I would call a scrub, but the fact you've put Michael Knight in, that's a lot of faith in.
Yeah.
He had that short shotgun title run, but who knows? That's probably that could well lead to something if there's a good showing in this.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess night one main event, I would be absolutely flabbergasted if this wasn't the main event night one. Bobby Guns.
Yeah. Sorry, no, go.
Bobby Guns, Jonathan Gresham.
Yeah, and I think you say this flag it wasn't main event on this evening. I think this is a main event. I think in any promotion in Europe, really, isn't it? At this point.
If it's in another promotion, they'd have Ring of Honor title on the line and wouldn't go on the networks. This one, they've been very clear not to say Ring of Honor titles involved, so this probably will pop on the network.
Yes.
In May time. But, Bobby Guns first ever Carat.
Shockingly it is. I mean, he's been alternate a few times. So I mean, technically he has been technically in Carat as an alternate, but and then every other time he's been champion or defect challenger, really. So shockingly it is his first Carat. But then there was the same thing with Simmons in 2020, wasn't there?
Yeah, he went pretty far.
No, Simmons lost the first night, didn't he?
Did he?
No, sorry, that was 2019, wasn't it, Simmons? He made his debut. He lost first night. 2019. Yeah, because he lost to Dreisker night one.
Oh yes,
the backyard brawl thing. Yeah.
Which, that I kind of put in my mind. I know that did not go over well in the live crowds. I mean, say Guns and Gresham, and obviously since everyone's last here for Carat, Bobby lost the belt. He's gotten close. But I think the story they've tried to not play it, but the story they've planted to seed for is Bobby wins Carat. To me, that's a little bit too obvious to say he's going to win it. So it wouldn't shock me if Guns goes out in the first round. That being the big shock of shocks, Ben off the built up, but at the same time, if he does go out the first round, what does he do for the rest of the weekend?
To be honest, either of these people going out first round is a shock, really.
One more so in terms of storylines.
Yeah, I mean, I I suppose if Gresham goes out first round, you have opportunity to play around with the Ring of Honor title stuff. You could have people returning from long pilgrimages in South Florida. You can have you could have all sorts of things. You could equally with guns. You could. I mean, we have seen people who've gone out first night of Carat and not appeared for the rest of the weekend. So it's I'd hope that wasn't the case for either of these really. But as I said, I think this is just this is a worthy that's something to get out of bed for and get on a plane to Germany for. I think a match like this, it's if I hadn't booked tickets already, this would have been something that would have sold me for sure.
Yeah, I think this one by one shifted a lot of tickets. And speaking of getting out of bed, next on Saturday we've got 3 shows. First one, they're bringing back the WXW showcase, but it's now the WXW Now and Friends showcase.
Yes.
APC in France, Body Slam Denmark, Body Zoy, and I know I've pronounced that wrong. Smash in Canada, Passion Pro of Hungary, Wrestle Carnival of England, and the WXW Academy all putting up one match. A lot of these, I'm saying now, some names I've heard of, some more than others. There's a lot of these that are fairly new to me, so I'm not able to say. But APC, they're putting forward a triple threat: Thiago Monteiro against
not the former Jordan and Midland F1 driver. Just to be clear.
So Thiago Monteiro, Rick Salem, and Cristiano Lasseriliste. I think that's, if I remember right from the...
Montero I've seen, he's pretty good. Rick Salem isn't bad. And Cristiano I've seen for Wrestling Cult. Again, he's not bad. He kind of does almost like a proto Cara Noir sort of gimmick.
He's the guy with the big glass ball kind of gimmick, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. He kind of does a little bit of it. He's in the same ballpark as Cara Noir, if that sort of thing. But that would be very simplifying him. So I have to admit, I don't know much more beyond that.
Next up, we have from Body Slam out of Denmark, Alice Inc. against Emeritus. Of course, Emeritus was doing Body Slam, the last showcase event.
Yes.
I think apparently she's actually over here last week for Wrestle Island over in Liverpool.
Oh, was she really? I didn't know that. She is Swedish, so we do get to opportunity to boost some Swedes. Although I think she is a face in Body Slam, I think. Emeritus, again, very popular. He's got a big match coming up. I think it might actually be just after Carat. He's got a big match with Gresham in Denmark for the Ring of Honor title.
Oh, it's actually Saturday 26th. So tomorrow's record this, published today when it goes out.
Oh, it's tonight. There we go. Go to that if you're in Denmark. I thought it was after Carat.
It's tonight.
Oh,
Since you've missed it.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, you probably should have been on the way to the show now. Yeah, so Emeritus is someone who's he's kind of to simplify him in as sort of a zombie Pentagon thing would be unfair. He's a very cool masked wrestler. Really, he's very cool. I think you just need to. Body Slam is a promotion. I think it's one that I will always sort of put over. Body Slam is a promotion that rewards you for finding out more about them. And I think that's one I would just say. Just have a look really with Body Slam.
It's there on WXW Now, for also on IWTV if you've got IWO subscription. So no excuse. Hop over to Belgium now. Body Zoy, again, I've butchered that one. Tag match, we're putting up Rivality, MBM, and Ultimo Sombre against Les Enfants Terribles, George Balzac, and Gustave Lebrun. And again, I think I pronounced at least one more thing wrong.
Yeah, you may have done. Yeah, I'm blank on these ones, unfortunately.
I've seen the names. I know.
I know Balzac and Lebrun from the name, but I don't know very much more.
They've done stuff for LDN over here in the past or recent past, but yeah, this one I'm going in complete blank on. Again, if the Belgians are putting these lads forward, they're not going to be putting forward, absolute scrubs.
Yeah, no. Bit of a strange. They're getting very popular, old Body Zoy. I think they're doing quite well for a country which doesn't really do wrestling. The notable thing about Body Zoy, I was about to say Body Slam, is that on their first show they had presenting their title Nicholas Anelka.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
Yes, Nicholas Anelka presented their championship on one of their first shows. So that's one of the few things I haven't unfortunately seen very much of Body Zoy, but it's one thing I do remember seeing from the show. It's a bit of an odd thing, really.
Just how to look at a cage match. That would have been.
That show is on YouTube. So
Yeah, but they've
one
got 5 shows on cage.
There's a few on WXW now as well, I think, isn't there?
Yeah, they've only had 5 shows, and again, opening just before the pandemic will do that to you. But yeah, there's a few names you may not want to pay too close attention to, as well. I'll say that, especially those early shows. But
yeah.
So, move on to the next one, Smash Wrestling from Canada. They're putting on Psycho Mike against Vaughn Vertigo. Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of Vertigo just because from any wrestling show I've seen in the barn or a room that looks like the barn, he's been on. I've seen for Pro Wrestling Clash in Milton Keynes a few years back. He did the last Inner Circle Carriage a couple of years back. Yes, I mean, again, we've had a fairly loose tie with Smash the last few years. Vaughn's done quite a few European tours. I think he's trying to tie this in with another one in England. So we'll see them around. Probably Preston City Wrestling Vessel, running shows, just not advertising them. And Psycho Mike, I think he was around for Carrot Weekend 2 years ago, but didn't do any German shows. He was more like the PCW loop. So yeah, I can't say too much. Vaughn's bit high fly. I've not seen that much of Mike. But again, we're not putting these guys forward just to have them fall flat.
Yeah, and Smash is great as well. The bits I've seen of Smash have always been really good, and I liked it when they had sort of the 4 pillars last year. That was really good fun, and it's interesting to see who these. Oh well, we sort of seen that go before already, but I think there's certainly one. This one I like. I'll be paying attention to this one probably more because I liked this last Smash, the last group of Smash guys. I really, really liked them guys. So I'm interested for this one.
Next, we've got a fairly new promotion, Passion for Outer Hungary. I know we've seen a lot of their stuff being put on YouTube and
So this is Icarus, and it's Icarus's promotion, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. The Hungarian. Amidst the pandemic, the Hungarian wrestlers have kind of invaded WXW en masse. I mean, they were in Berlin. Quite a lot of them were in Berlin for a while, but they've now invaded WXW en masse, and they've all been brilliant. To be completely honest, they've all been brilliant. So
shows I've seen have been really good. I mean, before they picked, they put up a tag match. Really good. Tomas Szabo and Maverick, who, can you remember years back, GWF did their version of Tough Enough, Who's Next?
He was on that, wasn't he?
Yeah. I think he went back far, and I'm going to try and look this up.
I do vaguely remember that, actually.
Szabo and Maverick against the Gulius brothers, Gulius Erksi, in WXW it's called Gulius Jr., and Gulius Filmos. Again, the Hungarian lads, they, in general, they have really been pushing up since the pandemic. A lot of them have been doing shows. A lot of them, it's not like they've just come out of nowhere.
And it's a great promotion as well. It reminds me of WXW of 2 or 3 years ago.
They've got another one in a few months. I mean, I'm looking again at a cage match. They did the Passion Cup back in July of last year. They ran a second show in August, a third one just before Christmas. And if you like, for WXW, the names they use, you get a lot of them on these shows. I mean, Sense of Ultra, Robert Dreisker,
Harras goes a lot.
Salani was on there briefly, Anil Marek, Sense of Ultra, Eagle Blanc. So it's a fair bit of crossover, and again, it's that whole thing of you using the more established guys in Germany to pull up the Hungarian guys to be on the same level. And that's how wrestling's meant to be.
Yeah, for sure.
And next one, some people are going to see this, and the memes already there. Wrestle Carnival, Charles Crowley defending the Carnival title against Big Guns Joe.
What better representative of Brit Rest than Big Guns Joe? And
Yeah, I mean, I know. So I don't know if this was the original plan. I know the original advert was the WrestleCon title was going to be defended there. Crowley won it at one tournament earlier this year. He was meant to have defended against RJ Singh. There's a blast from the past for you.
Wow.
The show got cancelled. I think that show might actually meant to be this weekend, but anyway, show got cancelled. So we've got Big Guns Joe and Charles Crowley for. If you're one of these guys who've heard the podcast memes of Big Guns Joe's on every single show, well, now you actually get to see him live.
Yeah, I mean, at least it means he won't be booked in the UK.
Well, true. I mean, again, like I like Charles Crowley as a babyface. Like I've seen him, good wrestling. The character connects. The stuff at Progress, and I haven't seen too much of Carnival, so I can't really comment. But the stuff at Progress, where he's being the smarmy, what's the phrase? He's a twat, and he knows he's a twat.
Yeah.
That kind of character to me, I don't get it. I'm old. I'm 38. Maybe that's it. He's massively over online. Great. I don't get it. But again, this to me, it's going to be interesting. You're going to have. I know Carnival's got a bit of a following in Germany. So you see, people getting there, Saturday morning, early Saturday lunchtime. Where that connects. I know the last showcase show, that's the BW match, but let's just say the bar was pretty low. Yeah, again, like I say, Carnival's not going to be putting these guys up to fail.
No, of course.
And what I suspect is going to be the main event as a WXW Academy Cup match. Oscar, he won a battle royal on the last WXW Academy live show, taking on the defending Golden Boy Santos.
Yeah, and we've not mentioned Oscar yet, but Oscar is another man who he's a graduate of the Farley Dojo, isn't he? And he hadn't wrestled for 2 or 3, since the start of the pandemic, I think, wasn't it? He was in the Farley Dojo just before the pandemic started.
So from bits I've got,
you probably know the story a bit more than I do, actually.
A little bit, yeah. So again, the timeline's a bit sketchy. So New Japan, they've got I hate comparing stuff enough. That's like the best tabloidy comparison. They've got a documentary series now on the Farley Dojo, and Oscar is on there briefly. This link and you miss it kind of stuff. But yeah, he trained there for years. I think there's stuff on Cage Match from him 2019, doing their dojo shows. Apparently he'd gone over to Japan at the start of the pandemic, to train in the New Japan home dojo, and then obviously everything hit the fan. There's a call, do you stay there, do you fly home? He flew home. And to their credit, they've leaned into that a little bit. He's kept the black trunks, black boots thing, the intensity you'd see from the open match Young Lion stuff in New Japan. Santos, he's held that Academy Cup for a while, and yeah, you've got the whole asterisk of there was a pandemic, still is, but I think this one I wouldn't be too shocked if it's a title change, just because Santos has had that run where he went out in the first round of the Road to Carat tournament.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's over, but if there's a storyline of he's down on his luck and then comes a big comeback, you've got Oscar who's mildly pissed off if you saw the Bielefeld stuff. I mean, when the guys doing the translations just throw the hands and goes loud arguing.
Yeah.
You know there's a lot of anger there, but this one, the Academy Cups. I mean, it's very rarely brought up, as a thing in kind of the main shows, but on the Academy shows, it's pretty big. And I'll say the fact that Oscar's been pretty much all over WXW since he became part of the roster would not stun me if he won that.
Yeah, it wouldn't stun me either. And I think again, this is Oscar is a guy that, like Marek, you see parallels to people who come before him, and you certainly can. I can see in my mind's eye him in 3 years' time in the sort of the upper mid card in WXW for sure, as and when people move on. So
mean, they've done really well resisting the whole, oh, hey, it's a guy from Japan. No, let's push him in. That has been part of the thing with Rotten Fluff. They've made as a story of, oh, we beat him. He was big. He was in Japan. We beat him. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's been winked to, but it's been sort of, it's been winked to more than anything else.
Yes, it's not being posed this issue, but like digs on the side, like, oh, he's in Japan. Well, we won our Carat main event, but so that's the Direct Renowned Friend Showcase. Then it's a very quick turnaround, probably enough to maybe keep the stuff at McDonald's or Cove out. Ambition 13, that's 2 doors for that one. Shoot style tournament, same kind of format as Carat. The first round, then it's a blind draw. Just going to blitz through the names. The in-between matches when there's 2 other non-tournament matches. Fuminori Abe against Oscar. That is, to me, I want to see that one. It might be over and done in blink of an eye, but that one I think is going to be the pick for the first round.
Yep.
Lawrence Roman against Bobby Guns. Icarus against James Runyon, and Endakara against the reigning and defending Shigehiro. No, not defending, but against Shigehiro Irie, who won in 2019, I want to say. He won in 2020.
He won Ambition 10, so that would have been 2020, I think. Yeah, should have been, yeah.
This is me typing up in tape because I know they did the Ambition
I think it's 19
in Canada, which threw off the numbering.
They've done too many ambitions now.
Ambition 10 was 2019.
Yeah.
I mean, again, these kind of shows you don't tend to have long matches. So that's why I got a quick turnaround. Irie's the only past winner. Bobby Guns went out in the semis in Ambition 9 2018 to Tim Thatcher. Lawrence Roman lost in the first round to Irie 2019. And James Runyon went out in the first round to Dan McCarvey in the Ambition wildcard we did over the Tag League weekend. Kara, Abe, Icarus, and Oscar all first-timers. On top of that, we've got 2 non-tournament matches. The Next Generation fight, Peter Tahani against Golden Boy Santos.
Yeah.
I think that one was born out of Tahani and Icarus doing a Ambitionish style match on the empty set tapings, which was really good as a just thrown out there match. And
that was done as a last minute. We need an extra match for our shows.
Yeah, if it works, it works. I mean, it's clearly they found a side of Tahani that I don't think many people would have expected. And the super fight, fast time Mudo against Biff Busick. Mudo, I'd say is one of, if not the MVP of the empty set shows. Biff Busick, he had the one of these against Tim Thatcher last time, I remember right.
Yes, the super fight. Yeah.
Not obviously Calric, but Priest against Timo. So again, if you like shoot style stuff, it's it's a good lineup. I think the only downside is a lot of these matches because of the style. It's blink and you'll miss it. So against $2.15, 3 o'clock bell time, and then you're in and out pretty quickly because night 2 of Carat for the Old Championship Saturday doors with 6.
Yeah.
So you can have these second round matches. There's no bracket, so it'll be you see who you see. We do have 5 other matches announced so far. Shotgun title lottery. Absolute Andy against the dreaded X. Maybe he'll pull out his randomized rap from 2 years ago. Any predictions on who X is going to be?
Well, it could be anybody. That's the beauty of it. I don't know.
There is one name that I've just scrolling through. This is very conspicuous by their absence in the Turbine Hall shows.
Who would that be? From it was on the Inner Circle, wasn't it? I forgot the name.
Andy's old friend Harris.
Yes, Harris. Yeah, Harris. I think you could do. Yeah, that's you. Well, now you say that, that's spoiled it, isn't it?
Well, I don't know because he did have that whole thing flirt and getting the title back, and then that fell off. So who knows? It could be a big surprise. We could bring back rotation, or he's back at the Inner Circle weekend. So who knows? Got the World Tag Titles online. Fast Time Mudo and Stephanie May is looking to get them back against the House of Hungary. They had that match at
Yeah,
Back
they're
to
done.
the
They're
start.
done.
And yeah, I mean, Steph thinks Nisha's healed again. I'm thinking way too hard about this. Part of me is thinking they wouldn't do this match when doing title change.
Yeah, and like Mudo and Maze again, another team that's kind of flourished sort of in the closed arena setting, and I think they've kind of every single time they've got a little bit of momentum, they've had their ankles cut out underneath them. So I think a big moment winning it on the Saturday night would be a bit of rice pudding, as previous owners have said. I think.
Would use some of that.
What's that?
Would use some of that after the last 2 years.
Yeah, we could definitely use a lot of rice pudding this weekend. But yeah, I feel that would be a very appropriate big moment for Saturday of Carat.
Got the women's title on the line, Ava Everett against Eva Kolaski. I think Ava just debuted in Bielefeld against Kaya Glass. I mean, I know she's in America in Germany a little bit long, so I'm not ruling out a title change, but I'd be hard pushed to say anything other than Eva retaining.
Yeah, I think Eva is likely to retain this. I mean, I suppose you do have the spectre of Lufisto being in the country in the weekend, so like you could, if she gets knocked out first night, you could get a 3-way dance thing. But I think I think it'll be a very very good match, but it will be a I don't foresee a change, to be honest.
I'm going to skip over the main event, come back to that because we've also added a tag team invitational gauntlet. Rotten Flot, Mikhail Schenkenberg and Nikita Charisma. There's no word on whether it's going to be like a random tag team thing like we did JAA tag team invitational thing with the wacky graphics and all that. I would suspect it probably will be, just because there's not that many established teams. So
yeah,
that one is an absolute crapshoot. And we touched on it earlier. This may be so. In the empty settee shotgun title, one of the guys who held it was Prince Ahura after the Pretty Bastard split up. He was stripped of it pretty early after the went back in front of the crowds. Suspended for an instant of the fan. We never put time limits on these kind of things. It wouldn't surprise me if Ahura comes back in the Pretty Bastards reform, or at least try and reform for one night only, something like that. But yeah, I think this one's an absolute crapshoot when it gets a tag title shot. And again, I think you're probably going to see a lot of comedy guys out night one. A few folks are hanging around for the weekend. Wouldn't surprise me if we saw Vaughn and Psycho Mike, or and the guys from Smash match earlier. They're hanging around, guys who are around and not.
Yeah, you could end up with like a random Big Guns Joe and
maybe with Gullias's.
Gullias. Yeah, I was immediately thinking Big Guns Joe and Gullias as the team. Yeah, there's lots of options, isn't there?
And of course, big gold main event, 4-way for the WXW Unified World Wrestling title. Jörn Simmons, Lavaniel, Tristan Archer, and the reigning Axel Tischer. And
yeah,
this they did on the end of the anniversary show. Back to Roots, beg your pardon. It's one of those where, if you look at this 4-way, you'll see if I can go
without context.
Without context, people put their hands up. As a match, this has been pretty well booked, at least in terms of how we got there. I mean, Tischer's beaten all of them by fair means and foul. He's at the Back to Roots was a big interview on the balcony with Sandy Jackson. He's willingly take them all on, and then that got misunderstood, and now we've got this 4-way with it's been all these interviews, run up, Ed for the Bielefeld show. Does he go back to being the monster before, or is he now going to be the new monster eater? Lavaniel 2 years ago was the jokey tag partner for DJ Hyde in that tag gauntlet. Now he's, I won't say he's like got that much of a shot, but the fact he's in the conversation as more of a comedy joke guy says a lot about him in the last 2 years. But of course, Tristan Archer's flourished for the title pretty much since he came back into WXW.
Yeah, for sure. And I think me and you kind of have somewhat of a responsibility to put this message out, is that Axel Tish is good now. I think the previous two sort of surprise appearances at the previous Carats have soured a lot of at least international fans on him. Very unimpressed sort of with the idea of Tisha. I'll be honest, he wasn't working particularly well. But I think this run has been he's been just, I think he's been really good this run. He's doing the whole reluctantly violent gimmick, which is obviously a Orlando staple at this point, but
not with the "why am I so evil" hand staring bollocks.
Yeah, but it's justified. He doesn't want to. He's having to be excessively violent in his matches because people aren't giving up, and I think that's what someone like there was the match with Levaniel where he had to basically do like 3 tiger bombs on him to even to basically, and they had to choke him out, didn't they?
Yeah, and that was even after Levaniel was kicked in the balls before the match.
Yeah, so it's kind of like there was just he's kind of he's doing the reluctantly violent thing, and I think then the change becomes when he isn't reluctantly violent and he's just violent.
Yep.
And that's obviously where it looks like it might be going in the future. But I think he's been really, really good, better than he was 2-3 years ago for sure.
Again, with your other contenders here, Jörn Simmons, he's had a few shots. We're also not always got rematches because of shenanigans coming out. Tristan Archer said he's had a few goals. Things for more famous ones when he had the injuries coming last summer, which cost him. But this one, I feel bad saying that Levaniel's one guy I don't think's got a shot of winning just because of how junior he is compared to the rest. I mean, out of this, Tisha retaining, if he snaps, in air quotes, probably is the way to go. At the same time, this isn't going to be a match where you have a winner and then that's it. You're going to get rematched in some form.
Yeah.
And to me, there's a very weird thing that I picked up in the Bielefeld show. Just scrolling down to the line. So in Tisha's interview, he, that whole thing about when you chop wood, you get splinters, but there's a very specific promise he made that he's going to enter Carat as champion and leave day 2 as champion. There's the third night of Carat.
Yes. So, is he just going home?
So again, we'll see how that goes. That's the big championship Saturday. That's typically the biggest crowds of the year.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's all seated this year, so it's going to be capped at, I think, 750 is what they're limited to in NRW in Germany. So again, we'll see. Sunday down to 2 shows. There's no after party this year, so off to the 80s disco at the Cult Temple if Mike Kilby.
Yes, maybe.
2 shows. We know next to nothing about these, so this will be a quick one. Wheel of Wrestling's feature event, they did this last time.
It's always a taping on the Saturday.
Yeah, so it'll be, so a few years back we did the taping for the road to New York. Remember when you could travel to New York back when European wrestling was part of WrestleMania weekend?
Yes.
So
yes.
Now we're getting a Wheel of Wrestling feature event. It'll be on WrestleMania Now and the Peacock Network, etc. There's no matches announced in the morning.
But there never is.
Yeah, what we always do with these, this is taped before but happens after Carat in terms of canon. So this will be like 12:30 start if you've got the festival pass. And then the final night Carat, doors 3:30 and bell at 5. Semi-finals, finals, and another smorgasbord of stuff.
And then more mystery things.
Yeah, again, they usually do announce stuff in the afternoon before. So like I say, 16 Carat Gold, a much different 16 Carat Gold for ones we've been used to in recent years. But again, if, like me and you, Mike, we've been watching the product throughout the last 2 years. A lot of people look at the lineup and see the names go, who are they? I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah,
it's like where folks will go, well, Rev Pro's well booked because it is. both Pro and WXW made for most of their empty set stuff, and it's paying dividends here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it almost feels like a hard reset for it almost feels like my first Carat, actually, in a way, this one, in the sense that I don't know everybody intimately. I knew a few people, but getting to sort of see, and you see people grow over the weekend, as I've mentioned earlier, and this definitely feels like my first weekender in a way. So the opportunity to see so many new things is just tantalizing, and like you say, WXW has done better than, well, WXW is basically one of the best promotions in Europe. Well, it's still one of the best promotions in Europe by far, and they've kind of maintained that by having every show matter. Other promotions, which may remain nameless, other promotions have squandered their live shows, their closed door shows, and as a result, the buzz is gone. And I think there is still, it's not quite 2018 fever pitch yet, but I feel like we're in 2014 with the current WXW. We still got to have I think we've still got to have the hot and spicy versus the outsiders match that really, really launches it again with this generation. But we've got people who I think are ready to step up, and what a chance to do it.
That's the thing everyone said, the names leaving for whatever reason. There's a lot of spaces there to be filled, and it's not even like they went through a massive list of names. When he's good, get rid of him. He's good, get rid of him. It's been a pretty stable roster for the last 2 years, and yeah, say you've been following this through. Even it's just been the feature events. You've not been watching the Shotgun 2020s. How dare you? Or the Wheel of Wrestling feature events. There is a very good core roster there, and WXW are in as good a position as anyone coming out. Okay, we're still in the pandemic, but coming out of the pandemic as far as being loud crowds, fans, touring, what have you. And that's what you get when you actually, I don't say put effort into it. That's
it's a company that has always rewarded investing in it.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time it has. There's a few times it hasn't, but that's that. You swing and a miss every now and again.
Yeah.
But it's always been a promotion that does reward people actually paying attention to it, and it's going to be a hell of a weekend, I think.
So that's it. Obviously, WXW 16 Carat Gold, Essen Oberhausen starts Thursday next week. If you're going, obviously, it's not travel ain't what it used to be, so make sure you've got your NHS app, your passes and all that.
Check restrictions before you go. We're not lawyers.
Just in case we get put back in any kind of high risk lists. Obviously, if you are going, like from whichever event in Germany at the moment, masks are required unless you're eating or drinking. It's an all-season thing. So if you are going, you obviously can have your masks. Make sure it's comfortable, because you're going to be wearing that thing pretty much the entire weekend, apart from your hotel room and outside of crowded places. But like I say, looking forward to it. It's my first travel since Carat 2 years ago, and it's going to be eye-opening, but it's going to be bloody rewarding. But as I think we said half an hour, we've gone well over that. But thanks for joining us, Mike, and safe journey. I'll see you in Oberhausen next week.
I'll see you there, and I'll hopefully see some of you there.
Don't forget the bonds.
Don't forget your bonds.